One person who we were hoping that would help do that was Jim Graves, who announced a week and a half ago he would be running for Congress. The Democrat would be running for this congressional seat. And first, let's play what he told us on Take Action News a week ago. Listen.
Tell us a little bit about the key issues you think that are emerging on the horizon a year from now when you're in the thick of the 2014 campaign.
Well, the key issue really is that Congress is broken. It needs to get its act together and needs some people to understand deal making, understands how to bring people together, understands that we don't need to burn bridges, but we got to build some, understands that people want solutions, they don't want problems, understand basically how we can get things done. I mean, that's what's going on in Washington, which is nothing, the gridlock. And Michelle Bachmann, good, bad, or different, epitomizes everything that's wrong with Washington. And so what the people of our district really want to do is they want solutions and they want things to happen. They're not crazy about headlines. They're crazy about getting people back to work, getting the district working, making it functional, and that's what we're going to do, move it in the right direction.
So there was Jim Graves saying that he could move it in the right direction, that he has experience with deal making, bringing people together, understanding we don't need to burn bridges, we need to build them. And yet this past week, after the news that Michelle Bachmann was not going to run again, Jim Graves decided that he's not going to run for Congress. And Daniel Mehrens, I think that's outrageous. When you enter a race in the way that Jim Graves did, and he made it very clear he wasn't running just against Michelle Bachmann. He was running for all these things that he said he had experience of. And now it becomes so apparent that, no, this really was about Michelle Bachmann for him. And I don't think it's exactly a profile in courage for him at this point to suddenly say, well, okay, now I'm getting out of this race.
David, there's no question about it. You hit the nail on the head. And I should also add that Graves declined to join us to help explain his decision to suspend his campaign indefinitely today on the show. We did reach one of his communications officials, and they notified us that he was not going to be speaking to the press at this time. And in his statement, he effectively said, I've been talking to friends and family members, and I believe that now that Michelle Bachmann is no longer representing us, and I didn't think that she was representing Minnesota 6th District effectively, I am no longer interested in putting myself through this process. It's really not fair, I think, to the Democratic Party, to the American people, to the people of Minnesota 6th, to basically misrepresent your campaign and say that you're running because you think you could actually add something and really get everybody excited about that. And then because you don't want to put your family through it, to suspend your campaign indefinitely once your sort of most infamous opponent has announced that she's going to retire.
Yeah, what about the families of his staff? I mean, Jim Graves had a staff who were literally working towards his election, not only, this time around, but also back in 2012. They poured everything for this guy, and now all of a sudden, and they were surprised as well. They had no idea this was coming, and he pulls the rug out from underneath them. I just, think Jim Graves has proven himself to be something of a wimp and a guy who has perhaps less integrity than some progressives and Democrats had thought.
Yeah, David, I mean, I still hope that he disproves it. Let's keep in mind that he suspended the campaign indefinitely, but he could come to a final decision in which he reignites it. I think that part of the problem here, David, is that, we've all been very impressed with how articulate he is, that he's a successful businessman who still has compassion for working people. But if you come from a perspective where you live a comfortable family life, perhaps in the middle of the country, away from the hubbub of the East Coast, you're not used to some of the difficulties of running for office and running in the circles where nasty character attacks are going to be made against you and things of that kind. You're going to be working 18-hour days. You may just say, you know what? It's not going to affect me if my Social Security and Medicare is cut. It's not going to affect me if joblessness remains high. And so maybe I'm just not willing to put in that 18-hour day. Like I said, David, I hope I'm wrong. And we continue to have an open invitation for Jim to come back on the show and discuss these issues with us. But until then, we're forced to assume that he's a wimp.
Absolutely. And by the way, the invitation also goes to Michelle Bachmann. If she wants to come on this program and talk about the FBI investigation or the allegations that have made by her former chief of staff that she knew of money that was going to an Iowa state senator, perhaps to try and bribe him, Michelle Bachmann is always welcome in our program to talk about that. Daniel Mehrens has How It Should Be next after this break. You're listening and watching to Take Action News on We Act Radio.